every season there is a purpose. So I've been getting up and saying, today show me what my purpose is. Not just being Christian, not just having the Holy Ghost, not just loving Him, but what is my purpose? And as I did the other morning, I was waiting on my son getting ready for school, and I was standing outside looking. And I looked at the trees, and I've been doing some research, and I thought about the things that the Columbus and other explorers brought to other countries that weren't meant to be there. They didn't have a purpose there. Like cattle were brought to America, and when Spain came, they brought the Spanish moss. And so here are trees, and this moss, which was never supposed to be here, came across. And it's on the trees, and the Lord said, look at that moss. It survives. It's not supposed to be here. But the tree has life in it, and the moss serves no purpose except to take life out of the tree. He said, which would you like to be, Cyndi? Would you like to be a tree that, despite things on it that never were supposed to be there, and it's taking life, trying to take the life of the tree, or would you like to be the tree? And there are all kinds of trees you can be. There's apple trees and orange trees, and there's every kind, cherry trees, and there's trees that give shade. And there are trees that anchor the earth. They're simply there to anchor the earth and hold moisture. And there's functions that we don't even realize, I guess, unless you're a microbiologist or a scientist. But of all the things, each tree has its own purpose. But that moss snuck in on somebody else's vessel and came here and made itself at home. Do you notice there's a lot of trees that still survive with things on them that were not there, that weren't supposed to be there? And the other thing I thought about, because I'm a writer and I fill books and I write even on my arm, and I write in the air and I write all the time. But I said, Lord, you're the author and the finisher of my faith, meaning my life's book. And He said, what kind of pen would you like to be, Cyndi? I said, what do you mean, Lord? He said, would you like to be the kind that's disposable and only one-time use, and once it's empty, you throw it away? There's no refill for it. Or would you like to be the kind of pen that you have to take apart and put each piece down and find the right refill for that pen that's only meant for that pen, put it back in, put the spring in, put it together, screw it back together, click it, and begin to use it again? Now, in order to have that kind of pen, you have to empty that pen. Then you have to take it apart, disassemble it, get the refill, assemble it again, put it back together, and then use it again. Even if you refilled it, if you didn't put it back together, you wouldn't be a useful pen. You wouldn't be able to write on anyone's life, on any piece of paper, even on your own, to write the most important notes that you needed, if you don't put it back together. And I said, Lord, let me be a refillable pen. Use me that when I write on someone else's life, and pen, even though they make those pens that you can erase, He said, do you want to be, those kinds of pens now they make that you can erase like a pencil? Those are only one-time use. He said, do you want to be erasable? I said, Lord, I want what I do in my life to have purpose. It's indelible. You cannot erase what I do. And it made me think about every word that I say, every action that I do, and not a burden. It's not a burden, because what I want to do is, if I write on your life, I want to make it something that you can come back to and say, I remember when she wrote on my life. And sometimes that's a hug to someone. Sometimes that's a word. Sometimes that's praying for them when they're in trouble and the Holy Ghost puts someone on your mind, and they keep coming to your mind during the day. Pick up a phone and call them and write on their life. But in order to be useful, He's written, the author and finisher. But what purpose do you have every day? Are you refillable? Are you willing to empty yourself out, take yourself apart, find the right filling, put yourself back together? Because what He says in the Bible is shalom. Shalom means nothing missing, nothing broken. And shalom, when that's given as a greeting or as a goodbye, it means may nothing be missing in your life. Well, He said that He's given us everything. If He knitted us together and put us in the womb and then sent the angel with the time of life, our life, and named us, what could possibly be missing in our lives that we would have to go look for? What could we possibly be missing except that we were already born, and once we got that Spirit, when you're born of the Spirit, you're born and then you're born of the Spirit. What could be missing that we would have to go searching for? That we would stop writing or stop looking for purpose? How could we be incomplete? We aren't. We aren't. We're refillable. We are not incomplete. We are refillable. And even when life comes apart and we're empty, it's all right because we're going to be refilled. And we still fit together in the same place. I just hope that's helpful. It was very helpful to me. And every day, ask him, what's my purpose today? Where should I? What's my purpose? If you do that, he'll say, you've given the Spirit permission to lead you where you need to go. Give you the words. He said, don't worry about what you'll say. He says, the Holy Ghost, will fill you, fill your mouth. I'll teach you all things. If he'll teach you all things and fill your mouth, what could you possibly lack? Where would there be any need for fear or any space for fear in your life each day? Can you imagine what kind of a powerful witness we will be? Right? What kind of light, how bright would our light be if we were willing to live with purpose each day and not with fear? Not thinking, here's a place that I always fall down in, but thinking, here's a place I can write on someone else's life and say, I know how difficult that is. But let me tell you a new story, because he's written one in my life.